I'd like to call the April 12th Parks and Rec meeting to order.
Yeah.
Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please have the roll call. We'll take, all right. George K. Okay. Oh, looks like we're already done. We're already signed in. Never mind.
I'm here.
We're all here. Thanks. Take a motion to, for the approval of minutes.
Motion. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Minutes are approved. Looking for anyone for public, yes? George?
I second.
Oh,
Mike Kelly.
Mike.
thank you. Anyone here for public input? Anyone here for public input? Is there anyone here for public input? Seeing none, we'll move on. Erica, report of council liaison.
Thank you. Nothing specific to report. Of course, we are in the deep depths of budget season. We're happy to hear from Park and Rec last night and heard the budget for that. So I think there's more work to do with the budget, and I think there'll be more to come with that. And I'm sure Molly has some additional input. If you guys have any questions regarding any council issues, concerns, anything at all?
Okay. Any questions for Erica? Okay. Do we have a Board of Ed person here? I know the person changed.
So we do have Beth Eastman, who is joining our commission as liaison. She is on vacation this week, so she'll be starting with us next month.
Okay. Special reports, tasks. Pardon me? Okay. So also, well, how about open task force, open space, George?
We didn't have a meeting this month, but they did present their updated master plan to town council, I believe, last Monday, April 3rd. That's it.
Okay. Any questions for George? Okay. Molly, your director's report?
All right, good evening. I want to start off my report to take a moment to acknowledge the passing of former commission member and longtime Park and Rec advocate, Dan Resende, who passed away on March 27th. We just wanted to say a little note that he was a selfless champion for the South Windsor Parks and Rec Department. He served on the commission for almost 20 years and was a key player in many notable improvements and accomplishments for our department. Such highlights include he did a lot of the Boundless Playground Committee to help create the inclusive play space for the community. He was a founding member of the South Windsor Parks and Recreation Monday Night Social Club and ran that up until the fall. And this is the club that provides young adults with emotional, behavioral, and/or physical disabilities a safe space to socialize and engage in healthy and fun activities. Our department is truly better for knowing Dan and having him work with us. And we're grateful to have shared his kind, caring spirit and his passion for quality recreation experiences for all. We're really honored to continue to provide Monday Night Social Club to the community, and we're gonna put Dan's, good work forward. So, we've hired someone who will be running the Monday Night Social Club. And as I'll speak on a little bit later, one of our huge goals for our department this upcoming year is really to expand our inclusive programming, which doesn't just mean add new programs. It actually means really looking at our facilities, our policies, our procedures, our wording, and really just becoming more inclusive in a whole entity. And, with Dan passing on top of that, that really, put forth that we really needed to make this a priority because we, realized how much of an impact he made on the lives of many individuals in our community and surrounding communities. And we realized that we need to, keep stepping up and make sure that we do provide an inclusive experience for everyone. So I'll speak a little bit more on that a little bit later on my report, but I just wanted to acknowledge that to start.
Thank you.
And then in terms of our programming, so Walk and Wheelways, they've been extremely busy. They always are in terms of submitting their grant. They have the 4th grade bike program coming up again, and they're going to be doing that in April and May. They're doing Learn to Ride events, the Moonlight Walks. We actually just had 30 participants go to it, so we've seen an increase in the Walk and Wheelways events, and we're super excited. On Friday, we're starting a new initiative. It's called the Teen Cycle Club, so it's for middle school and high school youth. Some high schoolers came to us saying that they couldn't start it within the school, liability reasons, right, in terms of biking, and they asked if we could, work with them on something, and I called in the Walk and Wheelways, and we decided that we were going to be able to start this program, and we already have 15 youth signed up for it, so it'll be really neat. We're going to be doing bike maintenance and safety on Friday, and then we're going to be doing 3 to 4 rides this summer. It'll be a couple hours long, so that's a new initiative. Again, it's all volunteer run, so if you know of anyone who is looking to be involved in a different facet, we always welcome additional people to do the 4th grade bike program, the Learn to Ride events, now the Teen Cycle Club. So we're super, super excited for that. In terms of parks, so I'm going to speak on John's behalf tonight. It's spring, so that means that we are full, gear in terms of spring sports. So we've, done the tedious job of marking out and lining all the athletic fields, Rice Street Park, Nevers, Rotary Baseball, Nevers Baseball, the Little League Complex. They've done a lot of irrigation work. They've done a lot of prep for the fields. It was a very mild winter, as we know, so the conditions were not terrible for the fields, which was helpful for us in terms of making sure that, we could get everything done in a proper timeline. So, we're excited for that. Lacrosse has a tournament this weekend, so we were preparing for that. And then we're doing some other additions, like cricket's getting 4 pitches this year instead of 2. So so we're doing some more additions in our athletic fields in that sense. They're also helping us with Old Orchard Hill. They've helped us prep some of the rooms. They've been moving some stuff with us, a lot of the outside playground work, because we have to ensure that the spaces are safe and ready to go for when our kids are over there. So they've been a really big help with that, and they've enthusiastically done it because they, believe in the department, and they're just super excited to be there within that role to help us out. The splash pad passed both planning and zoning and WPCA. So we worked with the contractor to move forward, and hopefully we're going to break ground within the next few weeks. We have everything in square order. We're just waiting for him to get out there. So we're excited for that. This could be a nice addition. It actually only takes about 12 weeks max to get a splash pad complete. So that's not with all the fun amenities, though. We're not going to have the shade structures in 12 weeks. That might take a little bit longer. But with that being said, it's going to be done for the summer, which will be good, as long as there's no snafus, so we can knock on wood there. And then in terms of other things, they're just super busy, again, with all the spring prep, the trail maintenance. We've had to remove multiple trees at Rye Street. It was a disease on the tree. I cannot think of the name of it right now, but it hit about 20 trees that have died out. So we didn't plan for that, but now we've had to remove several of them, and now we're going to be replanting. And kind of aligned with parks, but also recreation, also town side. We're gonna do a ribbon cutting ceremony for the COVID memorial at Major Michael Donnelly on May 1st at 3:30. So all of you are invited to attend. Jenny will send out an invite for you guys next week. And I'm just gonna keep talking. So program updates. So, I mean, we're just rocking and rolling. It's getting to be springtime, so we're transitioning our year-round programs, starting to get ready for our summer programs. But just some statistics, like this month in preschool, we had 175 youth. Wrapping up basketball season, we had 450 youth this year in our league, which was an increase from last year. Mighty Mites, we had 150 youth. We're actually seeing a boom in the Mighty Mites program, so we're looking to offer 2 sessions of that next year. Our open gym is busy every night, so we've still been doing pickleball, volleyball, throw ball, but with the weather getting nicer, hopefully, you know, individuals start to go play outside a little bit more, enjoy the fresh air. So Monday Night Social Club, they held a fundraiser. It was a bingo event for the Down Syndrome Association, and they had their 35 participants there. They raised $81, and they're going to use that for future outreach programs. And then if you've been to any of our events the last couple weekends, we had the fishing derby on April 1st. It was rainy, it was muddy, but we still had a good turnout. We had 125 people there, despite the weather. I think there was only like 3 or 4 trout caught, but that's okay. It's part of the fishing game, I suppose. So with that being said, it was still a pretty successful event, and if you're listening to this, there is a stocked pond now, so, please don't all rush there. Just kidding. So our egg hunt, so we had that on Friday, Good Friday, at the high school turf. So we bought 30,000 eggs, which sounds like a lot in theory, but it goes within 2 minutes, maybe even less, depending on the age group. So it was a fun time. We started our morning offering a sensory-friendly hunt, and then we had egg hunts for youth 2 and under through 2nd grade. But like I said, it was very fast-paced. We were doing T-shirts, hats, eggs, and everything was gone very, very fast. But everyone was having a good time, dancing, singing. The bunny made an appearance, Benny and Betty. And then we had the kids fair in conjunction with the event that was sponsored by the Women's Club. And there was a good amount of donations that came out of it for the food and fuel bank, which is always appreciated. In terms of spring and summer registrations, so probably all of you got our brochures in the mail at the end of March. They worked diligently on this brochure since December. It came out great. Just for a little background of that, we do the brochure in-house, and then we just send it out to get proofread and final design and edits. But the majority of it is in-house, so it does take a long time between securing contractors, making sure all the wording's right, the session dates are right, the pricing, the right photos, the right layout. So I always give kudos to my staff. They're extremely creative with that. But if you look through it, we do have a good mix of new and favorite offerings. So on April 5th, we had our summer registration, spring and summer. We had over 4,059 registrations in one day. It was record-breaking. Honestly, some of our programs filled up within 30 minutes, which is great, but also scary. So it's one of those things that we're like, okay, how are we going to address this? So we were already at 10 a.m. that morning, sitting all down as we were trying to answer people, all hands on deck, and my assistant and I were like, all right, so what programs are offered and what can we expand for a couple more sessions? How can we get a couple more people to, take 12 kids off this wait list or do this? So, we're working through that, but so as much as it's a good problem to have, it is a problem that we are having, right? So we're just trying to figure that out.
Molly,
Yeah.
what does your wait list look like right now?
It varies on programs. So swim lessons aren't terrible. Some of them have 12, some of them have 7. So that's not our issue. Camp, we have 75 to 100. So we're evaluating right now. We actually, skipping ahead a little bit, but we actually had only 9 vacancies for camp this summer in terms of staffing. And we've had actually a good fluctuation of resumes that have come in for it. So we were able to interview like 30 people so far. You know, so give or take, we're gonna have more staff than we were, you know, anticipating. Because usually around, we're like, okay, we need more staff for summer camp. How do we keep pumping this up? But we're very fortunate that all of our seasonal directors are returning, all of our nurses are returning, all of our inclusion staff are returning, and again, majority of counselors. So we're gonna be able to hopefully secure that gap and then take several kids off the wait list, at least to fill another bus, right? Because they go on field trips, they go to the pool. So we're hopeful. The thing about the wait list, which is kind of skewed, so I say 130, some parents or family members have pressed the button like 3 or 4 times, and the system doesn't send emails fast enough, so we actually have our staff right now going through and looking at duplicates. So I think, you know, they've been doing a really good job. I feel bad we had a new customer service clerk start a week ago, and it's just all been registration. So, you know, she's been handling it really well, but I'm like, yeah, we got to look at every single individual program, check for duplicates, and then make sure that, you know, we have everything squared away. So we're hoping by the end of this week that we're going to have all the duplicates off of the list. We're going to be able to move some kids off of that wait list, and then we're going to be able to solidify a plan to take, you know, several kids off that list every single week. We're hopeful that we're going to have, you know, I mean, our goal is to have less than 50 kids on a wait list ever. Swim lessons, our goal is not to have a wait list, which requires us to hire some more WSI, because we've got a good increase of lifeguards and gate attendants. People like to be gate attendants and concession, but we do need WSIs desperately. And I think that we're going through the method of saying, okay, if you're going to be a lifeguard, you can also be a WSI and we'll pay you the higher rate. And that's just an incentive, because it does cost a little bit more to become a WSI than a lifeguard. So oftentimes the kids, if they only plan to be a lifeguard for like 2 summers, it's not really worth it to them in their minds, right? So we're just talking about the pros of becoming a swim lesson instructor as well, because then you're educating youth on the life-saving skill of learning how to swim. It's, you know, it's fun, you get to be creative, and so we're trying to educate them on that and fill that gap. So we are still hiring for aquatics, and trying to figure that out so we don't have any wait lists. But, you know, it's been an interesting challenge and Rubik's Cube to kind of solve in terms of that. And as I kind of mentioned, like, we do have a lot of new staff. So Nathan Foley, he is going to be overseeing aquatics. So we filled that position. It's been vacant since, I think, like October at this point. He's super excited. He's already met with we have all of our pool directors solidified, so he's already met with them. And then we filled our last 2 vacancies in the department. So our former market manager and preschool teacher, Jenny, is going to be the new administrative secretary. So she will be here next month taking minutes, and you'll see emails from her. And then Sophia Kopp is our new customer service clerk. She's that very friendly voice and face that you will see in our office. But we're really excited. The team's all super high energy, enthusiastic, very innovative, ready to go. But yeah, so I'm kind of going all over the place, but in terms of additional staffing for this summer, again, we're hiring for VMP, not so much for camp. We're obviously taking applications still, and if we do end up needing vacancies, because we'll have staff drop out throughout the summer, or we need subs, right, or no-call, no-shows. That always happens in seasonal jobs. So we'll have to have some backups for that. We actually are having additional staffing opportunities this summer for special events, because in the past, a lot of our special events, we would have summer staff that were doing overtime. And a goal of ours this year, just due to trying to sustain the special revenue fund, is that a lot of our full-time staff will be taking on being present, which we should be, at our events, at our programs, and then we're going to be just kind of doing that more so, but then we're going to have a few part-time staff that'll be working events from here or there that won't be doing like overtime hours. And that actually also helps us in terms of sustaining our staff, because the burnout is higher when they're working 70 hours a week. So Shauna, who is our inclusion and special events recreation programmer, she's hired 4 individuals so far that'll be just doing events throughout the year. They've worked for us in various capacities before. Again, we're super excited to have them, and that is what we're doing for that. And again, to address the summer programming, so this year we were saying that our capacity between all of the summer programs, with like camp specifically, not swim lessons, would be around 5,945 spaces, and we're looking to increase that to about 400 additional spaces throughout the programs. So that'll be the most we've ever served, because in 2021 we served 4,545, and in 2002 it was 5,823. So we're steadily increasing those spaces, and we're working on it as much as we can. So it's been a lot, but we're definitely working on it. In terms of like after school and 4th R, we're hiring for that as well. We're looking at new ways to retain staff, and it's not just going down to raising the wages, but it's also looking at how can we be creative in our recruitment, because we always go after like high school, college kids, right, to work in these positions, but we have to sort of like flip the script of how else can we, you know, get maybe moms, dads, grandparents that don't have full-time jobs or don't necessarily need to have full-time jobs, but they want to have that social aspect, and they, you know, so we're looking at different aspects in there. Other towns are going to that model, and we're going to try to explore that. So, you know, we're just trying some different methods there. We're also super excited. I'm meeting with iCode tomorrow to solidify a contract with them, and it'll serve about 24 more kids like per school. And what I'm actually most excited about is the middle school. So we're going to be able to do a coding and a robotics program at our facility at OOH for middle school youth. Because that's a piece that is our goal, right, to hit more middle school programming, but also education-based programming, because we're not doing that currently. We do education in a recreation way, but like how else are we serving our community and hitting that gap that's desperately needed based on surveys and feedback? So that is one way we're addressing that. And we're looking forward to that. And lastly, so we did, as Erica mentioned, we presented our budgets last night. So admin accounts, parks, and the special revenue fund. So I'm going to briefly just share our budget requests and like highlight a few of our goals this coming year. So goals, obviously, you know, they're really our vision, and we provide us a roadmap in terms of how our successes are going to be measured. And I just really want to truly highlight the incredible things that my staff have been doing to add the innovative and new offerings, but also to really dig deep and try to like change some of our policies and procedures as well within our ever-changing community and our department. And I also said this last night, and I can't say it enough. My staff truly embody the mission of the department. They've been working all hours, weekends, holidays, and when I tell you that they're all super positive and just happy to be there, it's just such a nice feeling to see that, because they're just there for the right reasons. And they've just been coming up with more ideas on programs and services, and it's super great. And then we're always like, okay, we want to sustain this though, so you know, we got to take steps. But it's really cool they're coming up with all these new ideas. This upcoming year is projected to be one of our busiest, if not the busiest, programmatic years in history. So I'm proud of the teamwork and efforts that they have, you know, put forth, and I look forward to showing how we're going to make the positive change and be an essential part to our community. So this year for administrative budget, it's a $767,164, which is a 9.1 increase from last fiscal year. It's really mainly just due to some salary adjustments and some few administrative things in terms of like printing, like the ink, ready fresh water, because we don't have any water dispensers at Orchard Hill yet. So we're trying to get some water fountains, but we have to have water for the youth and the programs. So that current line item supports the entire administrative office operation that manages and supervises the $2.8 million worth of programs and services. and that's the only segment of our budget that's tax-based for the general fund. So, like the 9 divisions within the special revenue fund are self-sustaining accounts, so they're not directly tax subsidized. So those accounts, which I mention often, are contracted, so that's a lot of our enrichment programs, art, cooking, various stuff in that facets, preschool, day camp, 4th R, VMP, outdoor recreation, which is anything outdoors, and then the indoor recreation, and then social, cultural, and facilities, which is mainly rentals. And then, so for the special revenue fund, it's a little over 2.8 million. And then for our parks budget, we're requesting a 7.19 increase. So the budget this year is 1.889 million. So the increase, which John always speaks on, is, you know, really the increased cost of materials like stone dust, mulch, utilities, and then there's always a need for new equipment. So, you know, we put forth that. Again, it is a tough budget year. We know in terms of the, you know, economic state of our community and every community around us. You know, rising costs, people are losing jobs, various things. So we always want to be wary of what's going on in our community. So, you know, I'm sure there's going to be further discussion in terms of parks and things like that. And we're always happy to kind of work and ensure that things go well in terms of trying to work with the town to make sure that we have a fiscally responsible budget while we're still maintaining our services. And I just, to talk on 2 of our budget goals, and then I'm going to be done talking because I've talked for way too long. So, you know, one of our program goals for this upcoming year is really to continue to maintain affordability with economic sensitivity and establishing user fees while assuming expenses in the special revenue fund. So we obviously know that increased labor and supply costs are expenses that are increasing. So, you know, we're trying to figure out how to offer comprehensive financial assistance programs to remain affordable for all members of our community, even though we have to raise some of our user fees. So we're trying to make sure we can do both of those. We actually have been serving more financial assistance cases. It's just been like a lot more asking than we've ever actually seen, which is a great thing, because we want to make sure that people know that we have it and that we have access to it, and we want to make sure that everyone gets those programs, whether that's swim lessons, whether that's basketball, cooking classes, I don't care. I want them to come to us and ask for these. So it's nice that we're seeing that. We're just trying to solidify a more comprehensive financial assistance program so that way people understand where to go, how to get it, because it's kind of a stressful thing for people. My family grew up in that situation, and I know that walking into a community center or any other place, it's hard to ask for money. So we want to make sure that it's easier for people, and that's something that we're really trying to focus on this year as we know what's going on in our community and things are changing. And then another one is, you know, we're going to try to get 50% sponsorships for all of our events coming on this year. My special events coordinator and I have been working on a really nice sponsorship document that we've been going out and utilizing, because our events are great, but our concert series, for example, you know, that's over 10 grand. I mean, that's a very expensive thing that we offer free to the community. We want to offset it a little bit more so that way we can ensure we have the same quality bands, we can offer the same amount of weeks, just things like that. So we're trying to make sure that we can remain affordable and do these offerings, and we're hopeful that we can, you know, ask at a level that the businesses are willing to get some benefit in terms of, you know, social media exposure, brochure exposure, and kind of just being there. But then it also helps us out in our community. And then lastly, as I mentioned before, continuing to enhance our inclusion policies and programming by adding a few of the new programs, which will be, I mean, you've probably seen it in the brochure. They're really awesome. Revisiting our policies, creating more accessible opportunities within our spaces, and working with other community partners to offer more services. So we've really looked at all of our forms. We've revamped them to make sure the language is correct and appropriate. And now we're working on a plan with our special event and inclusion individual, and then our, for example, our camp inclusion or any of our other programs. We work with those families. We make sure they have the accommodations they need, And if it's something that we cannot accommodate within a safe or reasonable manner, we are now putting together documents and we're making relationships with other community partners to ensure that that person can go get that opportunity someplace else and have a safe opportunity to do so. Because we don't want to ever just turn someone away. So now we're providing this option and just kind of educating them on some other opportunities. But yeah, so those are just some of our program goals and objectives. We have a lot of other ones. I know John would probably speak to all the great things that we're trying to do in terms of parks as well. And quick other shout out, Dave Turkington did get his certified playground operating license, which is super awesome because that's going to help us as we need to now create a timeline for all of our playgrounds so we don't have to ask a CIP for $3-4 million, you know? So we're trying to come up with an adequate timeline so that way we can ensure that all of our playgrounds are safe, but also have the right amenities and they don't look worn down because, as you know, kids wear down playgrounds very fast. So we're doing all of that, and I'm going to stop talking and let you ask questions.
Okay. Are there any questions for Molly?
I have a couple. First, just to clarify, the summer programs are being hosted at Old Orchard Hill, correct?
Correct. So yes, so we're starting to move our administrative base the end of April, and then we will finalize moving like our preschool base by the end of June. So we'll be fully operational out of Old Orchard Hill.
Okay, have you done any analysis up to this point? I know you're trying to add spots to the programming to accommodate as many kids as possible. Is there any analysis as to how the Old Orchard Hill site is going to hinder that, or kind of what the difference would be if you were still at Wapping, which we know is not an issue, you know, not an
Right.
option, but.
Yeah, so there's a little bit less space in terms of what we can do for rooms right now. Like, because we're not going to use the portables right away. We have like emergency management stuff from the town. Like, I moved into one of the portables. A few of them are not in the best condition, so we're not going to utilize those rooms right now until we can evaluate how much it'll cost to clean them up and make sure that they're safe to use. And then we have like a few other, you know, rooms down there that still need to be switched out with Board of Ed. Which is okay, it's part of the transition. But with that being said, because we are down, I can't even call it the basement, but basement, first floor, I suppose, is our operating sections. So we are a little bit more tight on space, because it's not like we're utilizing all of the, like in Wapping, we utilize the high school rooms and everything else. So it is a little bit less. We're trying to work with the Board of Ed right now to see if we can utilize the new Orchard Hill during the summer for a few additional spaces in terms of camp, because it is on that same area essentially, and our nurse will be able to get over there. And we seem like we might have enough staff for that. So we're looking into that possibility.
Okay, great. One other thing, I've heard concerns about the school schedules, the elementary schools next year with starting later.
Yep.
Have you looked into how we can accommodate before and after care in
Yes.
relation to the schedule changes?
Yes, so we are working. There's been some things going on between, you know, 4th R and Board of Ed and some other stuff, and we really need to work together with the Board of Ed and really analyze the need versus the want, first off, but also we're just trying to solidify the right plan in place so that way every child or family doesn't have to worry about before or even after care options. So yeah, we're looking into how we can reasonably expand the program, which is why we're trying some new recruitment options. But we're also going to be looking in for after school to do some like additional enrichment programs as well to offset the after school. I'm more concerned about the before than the after school. I think that's where the big need's going to be. As we've kind of talked to some of the daycares in the area, just talking about their numbers, because I was a little curious on that, and they don't have huge wait lists for the afternoon, but they were also saying, oh yeah, maybe the morning. So that's something that I'm like, all right, what are we going to do? So we've been problem solving that just to ensure that we can offer adequate numbers for care. I think because not all of the school is switching the start times, that actually might work in our benefit, because some of the staff that we would use additionally at some sites, we're going to be able to move as well over to other sites. So we're trying to be creative in those couple methods. I don't want to speak before the horse, or the cart before the horse. I don't really know that saying fully, but as we really, we're trying to work that out internally so that way we can have adequate information and not spread the misinformation of it. But we're working on it because we do know that May 6th is when we're technically supposed to start the lottery, even though the pre-registration is not done for current 4th R families yet. So we're kind of still waiting to see what those limbos and numbers are. So we're hopeful. We don't have a wait, like last year when we did the lottery, there was a small wait list, the smallest one they've ever had. And Shelby was able to get everyone off of that wait list. And it actually seems to be a lot of the younger ones are the ones that are coming in, right? And a lot of the older kids are now actually staying home. So we're not seeing as many older kids coming in, we're seeing the younger ones. So we're trying to adjust with that as well, to try to analyze our numbers to make sure we have adequate ratio, because we never want to offer an unsafe program. And I know that we have a high quality program and we will continue to do so. So we're just hoping that, working with the Board of Ed and, hopefully some patience and understanding, we will make sure that we deliver it in the right method.
Sounds good. As always, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes.
I was wondering, I know there are a lot of Christian-based events in the rec department. Are you thinking of expanding opportunities to other religions so you can kind of approach that inclusivity goal that you discussed in your report?
Yes,
Okay.
we are planning on that.
What other religions, and what do you have any specifics about that? Or?
Yeah, so Holly is coming up, for example. So we're going to be trying to do some events with that on April 29th. We're doing that in the fairgrounds. But, we're kind of just approaching things as they come, and we're trying to work with the community partners to see what people are interested in, and we're always willing for suggestions as well. So if you know of anyone, that would be great, and we can kind of chat and come up with some new opportunities to be more inclusive.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You have a question?
Yes. First of all, I wanted to welcome Mitchell, whose nameplate says Miguel. So Mitchell Marks is the newest member of the commission. Maybe you were here and I haven't been here when you've been here, but just to mention. So it does have the wrong nameplate there for anyone who's interested. That is Mitchell Marks. A couple other questions I just had for Molly. I know Open Gym has been an ongoing thing, which is really exciting, and it just happened to be a rainy day, and my husband turned to me and said, "Is there Open Gym?" And I said, "Yes." And I went online to try to find it, and I had a very hard time finding it. So I'm just wondering if we could somehow make that information more available or more accessible. I'm not really sure how that would be on the website or something.
Yeah, I can work with our team to see where we can best post it so it's not 10 clicks probably. Most likely it's probably 10 clicks is my assumption, right?
Yeah, it was a real
Yeah.
search, I think.
Yes.
I went through Facebook and found pictures, and I looked through the pictures because I knew there had been a post. And then I'm really excited about the increased inclusive programming.
Thank you.
Just had a thought as we were talking, because you talked about Dan Rosende.
Yes.
And I know we have other programs that have previously been named after, other members of the community. I wonder if we might consider, creating that program and calling it the Dan Rosende program or something like that. Just a thought, and maybe the commission has some input on that.
Excuse me, Erica, that's not really part of this. You are the liaison to the town council. You're not part of the commission. It's nice to have the suggestions, call her up and do that, but not during the meeting. Thank you. Any other questions? Now, I don't mean to be disrespectful. Any other questions? Molly, how can we as board members be more helpful to you?
So I guess talking about commission involvement at our upcoming events. So our subcommittees met. We met, 2 weeks ago now? 3 weeks ago, maybe? Time's flying on this point. And we were talking about the importance of community engagement to kind of understand what our community wants and needs from recreation in terms of, how we're serving the community, how we can better serve the community. Do people want a permanent rec center? Which we will always ask that because, we do find that it's a need as we continue to see increase on things. So we have a bunch of events that are highlighted that we plan to kind of chat with everyone about, that we kind of came up with a plan. at our last committee meeting, which is really just a lot of our parks and recreation events in general, along with our park monthly meetings. And then I'm just adding a couple of community forums in the senior center coffee chat, which I do anyways with their seniors probably twice a year. But I think these opportunities will give people the chance to come in, talk to us, and really share their voice and their thoughts. And we're hoping from that, then people, if they're interested in getting more involved, we started creating a form that, we haven't finished to finalize this, but Jenny is super creative, so she was able to work on Canva for me on this. But we're gonna be able to have people's name and address and email, and kind of have people that are more willing to be involved come in and kind of do some recorded testimonies, so we can make some nice little videos and interviews and participate in surveys, and can also have submitting some written testimonies to Parks and Recreation, so we can also start to get the word out of like recreation is for everyone, because that's the message. I think oftentimes people think that recreation is just for like the youth and teens in our community, but we actually do serve all ages, and that's what we're really trying to push for, is people understanding how we can benefit everyone. And as you had requested it, we did make the sign-up sheets for everyone to sign up from the commission to be more involved at these meetings.
So for commissioners to be involved, what does that look like? They show up to an event, they shake hands, they walk around, what's going on?
Yeah, so I think that it would depend, right? So at some of our events, kind of like Armed Forces Day, we would have a booth. So we try to have a booth at all of our events anyways, in terms of trying to get the word out on some new programs, just to say hi, also talk about employment opportunities. And I think what the really cool thing about that is then we can go have commission members with one of our staff, so it would never just be a commission member, it'd be a commission member and a staff, whether that's myself, my assistant, one of my program staff, which would be really awesome for commission members to meet as well. I made some brief examples that I'd love for individuals on the commission to kind of look through, and some talking points on some of our programs, some data of National Rec and Park, of what recreation is doing in the country, and also kind of start to ask questions like, what do I like about South Windsor Parks and Recreation? How important are the services offered by Parks and Recreation? And how would you like to see, or what would you like to see Parks and Recreation offer? So just, having those conversations. But if you're not one that likes to small talk, if that's not your forte and you just want to be there to support and say hi, and hand out some giveaways, we're okay with that too. We just really want, presence there. I think that really speaks volumes in terms of support.
Is that something board members are willing to do? So do you think it makes sense if we pick some events and we signed up and we kind of made some commitments, I think, right?
Yeah.
That'd be good. And where will that list be?
So I put all the sign-up sheets for various events over by Tearsay. And then I'd be happy, once Jenny's back from vacation next week, I'd be happy to send out some of these infographics. And if anyone has some feedback on how to amend the infographics, I love input. I'm not perfect in terms of, what I write, but so that's why I always think that, if there's any input from the commission on things that you found to be missing on some of these forms, that would be, it's great to hear from you in terms of that.
Can we do this electronically?
We could, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking with schedules and picking time slots and then trying to get people's calendars, it may be easier to do it where people are on their phones or at their computers, and that may be the easier way to do it.
Yes, so if that's okay, maybe we'll do it through like a Google Forms, if that's acceptable, okay.
Yeah.
Then I can have Jenny work on that next week.
Perfect.
Awesome.
My wife thanks you.
And did I hear, I thought I heard that the Mad Room downstairs has been equipped for video, so is that a true rumor? And would the board want to meet there instead of this echo chamber? Would be yes,
As the council liaison, I will
Yes,
report
thank
to
you.
you that we have passed for commissions to be able to use a go bag. The Park and Rec Commission was not listed in that, so you guys remain using town equipment, whether it is the council chamber or whether it is Madden Room, which has been set up with that equipment. Either of those are available to you. If there were to be a change in the previous resolution that required Park and Rec Commission to meet using live video feed for their meetings, then that would have to be at the request of the commission to come to the council and ask for that change.
So does that mean that the commission, if we schedule in the Madden Room, that is acceptable? I'm just trying to clarify, I don't know.
I'm not sure, based on how your meetings are scheduled when you create the calendar, how the changes can be made.
Okay.
Not 100%
Yeah,
sure
I
on
can
that.
clarify on that, thank you.
If the commission were to want to make changes and be able to have access to that go bag, now would probably not be the appropriate time, only because we are introducing it to other commissions, and at this point, it is new to 5 commissions. 4 other commissions will be brought on board in September, and there's only one go bag at this point. The second bag does not exist. It is somewhere, the equipment that will go in that is somewhere between here and China.
Thank you. Are there any motions or anything to look into? Any questions?
I have one. Are we looking to move there, or are we gonna have to do,
Well, I think we probably, from
Have
the
to wait
sounds
until all
of it, we
this-
have to request it to begin with and then get approved by council.
okay.
Is that right? Or did I not understand that?
It sounded like you said wait till September, or wait till other commissions apply.
As far as the Madden Room, I'm just not sure, because when you set your calendar, I'm just not sure if you have, at this point, committed to council chambers. I just don't know the answer to that question. I can find out the answer to that question. And Tercy may know the answer to that question. As far as switching to the go bag, I think you could probably request it of the council at any point. I just don't know that it would be an imminent change. It would probably be, after all of these other commissions have started using the mobile video equipment. And once that has kind of smoothed out its wrinkles and really been sorted through, which the second set is scheduled to come on board in October.
Thank you.
Through you, Chair, just to elaborate a little bit as far as the Madden Room is concerned, that's something that Amanda and I are working on. So what we do is we collect every committee's calendar year schedule. I am in charge of the Madden Room and scheduling the Madden Room, the sprinkler room, and so forth. You guys are scheduled, Park and Rec, for the whole year to be in the council chambers. If you do decide that you want to use the Madden Room, right now the Madden Room is equipped with audio and video. The sprinkler room is the only room that you're going to be using the go bag currently for. We're looking to hopefully, whatever we put in the Madden Room, to put in the sprinkler room, but right now the only go bag usage is for the sprinkler room. If you want to utilize the Madden Room, that would be something that you would contact me and say, hey, we want to use the Madden Room instead this month, and I would see whether or not it's available.
Thank you.
So that means we can just use it and not have to do, as long as it's videoed, it wouldn't matter where we are, right?
Tercy may know better than me. I just,
I'm sorry, what is he
as
asking?
far as like,
What was the question? I'm sorry.
so if for them to just switch to the Madden Room from here, when their meeting schedule is made, it's created based on them meeting here.
Correct.
So it's more about the technicalities and requirements of the commission than the schedule. Do you know what I mean?
Correct. And it's already with the town clerk's office, the schedule for the year.
Yes.
If there's ever a situation where this room, council chambers, is not available and we have to place you guys in the matter room, then yeah, definitely, I can look at the calendar and try to accommodate and put you guys in the matter room, yes. But because the schedule per, guidelines and protocol and so forth is already set for the year, and it's already at the town clerk's office indicating that you guys are in this room, then that's what it's set for. If for next year, you guys decide we don't want to utilize the council chambers anymore, we as a committee want to vote to utilize the Madden room, then that's something that you guys can do for next year, do it around November. Again, all these schedules are being sent to me. I plug it into the calendar, and if there's ever any changes, usually people contact me. I'm the administrative secretary at the town manager's office, and I'll try to accommodate you guys. But it would be something for next year to request. I'm gonna assume so, because it's already embedded with the town clerk's office.
Seemed like we came to this room out of, just like that, right? Or you guys can't meet there anymore, you gotta meet in the town council room. Yeah,
Are we is there a motion on the table, or
there was no motion on the
Okay,
table.
can we go
so
to the next
I've
item?
been waiting to take a
Okay.
motion. Do you have a
I have no motion, or is there,
motion? There's no motion like that?
no. Okay, so is there any other discussion?
We're done with the discussion.
Okay.
Is there any other motion that anyone would like to make?
Well, I would like to make a motion that we move our meetings, I guess, starting in next year to the Madden Room.
Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Any discussion?
I'm fine meeting here. I think it serves our purposes. I see no need to change the schedule or change the meeting or go to the council to require any permission to do any of that. So I would be in favor of staying here.
Okay. Motion's been made, motion been second. All those in favor say aye. Or did you have something to say, Genevieve? Or Kristen? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say aye. Any abstentions? Yep, do roll call, please. Oh, I have the roll call.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I do. George Kay,
Yes.
Srinivas. Fair? Neutral?
Neutral.
Okay. Genevieve?
So to clarify, the motion is
For next year, to have our meetings happen in the Madden Room and not the council chamber.
if available,
Right.
based on the schedule.
Right,
Sure, yes.
okay. James?
Nay.
Michael? Yes. Toby, yes. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Bill Novak's not here. Renee?
Yes.
Miguel's not here. Kristen? Mitchell? Okay, that's it. There's, motion carries. Thank you. Molly, did you want me to come back to this the committee's report, or?
Genevieve or Toby, whoever, Michael, do you have anything to talk on additionally for it?
I think really we're just trying to come up with ways we can be as creative as possible to get the word out and hear from as many people as we can from the community events, and hopefully we can, convince people to come join us and talk to us here about what Parks and Rec means to them. I think, trying to think what we did a lot. I feel like we got a lot done. But really it was just about kind of trying to find ways to get people in, find ways to get people to talk to us, and find ways for the commission members to get out into the community and really talk it up. And I don't know if you guys have anything else to add.
I just think working with Molly's staff, that's comes into that subcommittee. I think we've come up with a lot of good ideas, and commend your staff for pretty creative ideas.
And their willingness to participate in it.
And I think maybe just to add some some clarity is the end goal is to find out exactly what we need, what the community needs from Parks and Rec so that we can provide a facility. That is really the end goal, is to be able to provide a facility that meets the needs, the goals of everyone in our community of every age group. So I just want to make sure that is put out there very clearly.
Thank you, Genevieve. Michael, you can help me out here. Is there a motion?
Do we have, wait, hang on, where are we?
I think
Are we on other business?
Oh, other business.
I have
yeah,
other
thanks.
business.
Is there any other
Sorry.
business? Thanks. Thank you. Other business? Thank
Yes,
you.
please. So I just wanted to share something that I learned about this past couple weeks is that the National Recreation and Parks Association has declared July as Parks and Rec Month. And I just wanted, so the association has this great website and toolbox for how Parks and Rec departments can, you know, get the word out and really involve their community. And so I just wanted to read a couple of the bullet points that they provided. And it says, since 1985, people in the United States have celebrated Parks and Recreation Month in July to promote building strong, vibrant, and resilient communities through the power of Parks and Recreation, and to recognize the more than 160,000 full-time park and recreation professionals, along with hundreds of thousands of part-time and seasonal workers and volunteers that maintain our country's local, state, and community parks. Through efforts by NRPA, the U.S. House of Representatives passed an official resolution for Park and Recreation Month in 2009 and introduced the resolution in 2017 and 2018. Park and recreation agencies across the nation are recognizing the month with summer programs, events, contests, commemorations, and celebrations. And the services that park and recreation professionals provide are vital for our communities, from protecting open spaces and natural resources to helping fight obesity and providing activities and resources for all people. Park and Recreation Month encourages everyone to reflect on the exponential value park and recreation professionals bring to communities. And I think with all the work that we are doing over the summer to, again, engage the community and with our goals to be able to provide, you know, a great facility for the community, I think July, you know, is quite a convenient time to be able to celebrate our Parks and Rec department. And I don't know exactly how this is supposed to work, but I think I would like to make a motion for our town council liaison to bring it to the council so that we can make a proclamation and declare July as Park and Recreation Month in South Windsor. Let me know if that is not how it works, but.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made, motion seconded. Any discussion? James?
Great idea.
It is a great idea. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Genevieve.
Thank you.
Erica, are you comfortable doing that, taking that? Thank you. Are there any other motions? Any other business?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion made to adjourn. It's been seconded. All those in favor say aye. 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 All opposed? We are adjourned.